let's have a conversation about conservation. Welcome back, everyone, and I hope you guys are all having wonderful days so far. My name is Leaf, and it's so great to have you guys back here once again for another top 10 mods for whatever pack we're in. I like to do these ever since the North America pack, and it's just been a blast doing these. And the conservation pack is one in particular that I feel like we could have gotten a whole slurry of animals for. So we're just gonna go through my top 10 mods that you can honestly tack on to the rest of your conservation experience. A lot of these mods will have either been endangered animals, critically endangered animals, extinct in the wild, or animals that have kind of endured a really long story in terms of their conservation trials and tribulations. And without further ado, let's get started on the wisent. Many of my European friends and colleagues will know the wisent and its story behind it. One of the largest animals that has ever lived in Europe, the wisent is essentially the American buffalo of Europe. It's a really beautiful animal. They're a lot more skinnier than the actual American buffalo, but Narwhaler did such a beautiful job at capturing the beauty of this animal. It really stands as a really powerful and majestic animal, and they have some interesting conservation stories right behind them. Having only survived because of a herd of 7 individuals, this species has been saved thanks to conservation efforts of zoos and conservation institutions all across Europe. And the mod is beautiful as well. It is absolutely gorgeous, and Narwhaler did a fantastic job with it. If you guys are having a conservation park based in Europe, this is definitely one of the must-gets in terms of modded animals. Moving on from there, we are still staying with our bovines. We're moving on to the Lowland Noah. These animals are found on the island of Sulawesi, very much in line with binturongs and the babirusa. These guys are currently cited as endangered with around 5,000 individuals left in the wild, but still you guys can conserve them virtually with Bongo Hardwood's beautiful rendition of the mod. It's an incredible animal with some really interesting body characteristics that is much more unique than any other bovine you probably have in the game, and I really do suggest you guys check this out. These guys have had their populations kind of diminished due to improper hunting etiquette, whether it be for habitat loss, logging, and a wide variety of different factors. They're a really incredible animal to bring into the game, and I really do suggest you guys check these guys out in the description down below. Another one on my list is the golden lion tamarin. These guys are only reduced to a certain population down in Brazil, and it's super sad because they're such an adorable creature. I know that these guys are becoming relatively common in zoos, but that doesn't diminish the fact that these guys are still very endangered within their local populations due to a wide variety of factors, very much in line with the Anoa of deforestation and stuff like that. The mod itself, made by Nicholas Linerider, is one of the most beautiful mods that has really stood the test of time ever since the inception of new species mods, and I really do suggest you guys check this one out in particular. It's our smallest one on the list, but I really do think it makes a huge impact, especially if you're building more arboreal sections, and it really does help to serve a really good story as to the protections and conservation efforts happening down in South America as well. However, we're going to take a trip over to Africa, where we can meet our next modded animal, the Black Rhino. The Black Rhino, of course, has a population of around 5,500 individuals. It's very interesting to see how this rhino was once one of the most populous rhinos, but has really succumbed to a lot of wide variety of factors in terms of its threats by poaching and habitat loss within the last century. While the mod isn't exactly the best, in fact it was ported from Zoo Tycoon 3, it is hoping to get a little bit of a remaster, hopefully sooner rather than later, so do keep your eyes peeled for that, but I still suggest you guys check it out nonetheless. It's a very essential species to have in game, and no zoo is complete without one of these guys. Moving on from there, we're going to take a little trip over to India, where we're going to meet our next animal, the Indian wolf. Now, these guys have had their populations relatively diminished as of late. Many of the times, farmers will often see these guys as a threat, and that often leads to a threat to the wolves themselves. Ever since then, their populations have kind of diminished a little bit, but several institutions all around India, as well as some other places in the world, have been slowly and surely trying to get these populations back up. The mod itself, made by Giorno and Gaboy, is one of the most beautiful dog mods out there, and I really do suggest you guys actually check this out in-game. It is gorgeous, and I can say for certain, it looks so much better on your own screens than it does on this silly little video. I really do suggest you guys check this one out in particular, but moving on from there, we're going to take a trip over to North America with the whooping crane. These cranes in particular suffer a really sad story of how their populations were just diminished to about 20 individuals, but recent conservation efforts have really helped this species excel and reach bigger populations. Even though it's only at 800 individuals right now, there's still a way to go to really reintroduce this species to the wild, but still we can see that conservation efforts have worked extremely hard to help this population really get back up there. The mod itself, made by Giorno Pizza as well as Didums, is a really beautiful representation of the cranes that we can actually have. And if you're building a North American-centric conservation center, these guys would definitely be up there on your list for sure. Many of these animals on our list really do suffer from habitat loss, as well as that leading to so many animals losing their habitats and losing their populations in conjunction with that. Another one that suffers from this is the golden snub-nosed monkey, made by Monsoon. This one is gorgeous. If you guys do have an Asian-centric collection, this animal would be up there on your list. These animals in particular are extremely iconic due to the blue on their face and the orange fur all around their body, as well as their little, I guess you could say, absence of a nose. They still have one, but it kind of looks like they're missing it. They're a really adorable creature, even though they are extremely threatened. Their populations are currently sitting in between 8,000 to 15,000 individuals, which may sound good, but it's still relatively not the best. But that makes a perfect contender for our little list here today. Now, I know not everyone likes the fish mods, but I felt like this list wouldn't be complete without this individual animal in particular. The Scalloped Hammerhead is one of the most threatened species of sharks out there, and I felt like we really need to shine a light on this population in particular. Having their population go down due to overfishing, as well as depleting the natural diet of this species, has led this species to actually be critically endangered. Not only that, but the popularization of shark fin soup, as well as other practices using the shark's body, has really led to the overfishing, as well as endangerment of this species in particular. Having these guys in the game, however, is a really great thing to show just how important it is, not only for land conservation, but marine conservation as well. Both Giorno, Jen, and Buff Zoo have done an incredible job with this mod, and I really do suggest you guys check it out. It's a beautiful animal, it's a beautiful story behind it, and there's still so much to be done, so even just getting the recognition for this species is more than enough for me. But still, there's a long way to go. While not the exact species I wanted to go for, the Japanese giant salamander really helps to represent just how crucial amphibian, reptile, and reptile conservation can really be. While their cousins, like the Chinese giant salamander and the hellbender, are extremely threatened, this one has received so many protections behind it to help prevent any conservation declines before they can even start. The country of Japan has really helped to cite these guys as one of the most special and crucial animals in their environment, and it's really super awesome just to see how these conservation efforts actually get started before populations even start to decline. And I just think that's an incredibly awesome thing to have. Jen did an incredibly beautiful job on this mod in particular. The colors are astounding, the splotching is astounding, and I really do suggest you guys check this one out in particular. It's a really awesome animal, and I can't wait to see some really awesome habitats with it. Last but not least, we have a funky looking creature. This one is the Saiga, otherwise known as the Saiga antelope. These guys have a really sad story behind them, but conservation efforts in the East have been really working tirelessly to help preserve this species. Now, only standing about a couple feet tall, these guys are a really, really funky looking creature. You may notice them from their very iconic looking schnoz over there, but you may also notice them from their very sad population stories. There are so many different things that lead to these guys becoming endangered, it's almost like someone has it out for them. These guys have been victim to so many different barriers, whether it be hunting, whether it be agriculture, whether it even be so many different diseases trying to wipe out the population. These guys are still trying to be saved by conservation efforts all around the world. Not really all around the world, but only in a specific place, which I am declining to say. But it still is super awesome just to see that these guys are still being worked on, let alone they're still critically endangered. Now back to the mod itself, Kaidu did such a beautiful job with it. One of the only mods crafted from the ground up. This animal is extremely beautiful, and I really do suggest you guys check it out, because it really goes to show just how beautiful things can come out if you do stuff from scratch, as well as giving so much light to a very underrepresented and very sad species. But that's about it for today. I wanted to thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I really do hope you guys were able to discover a new mod, maybe try out a new one in the process. You guys are always the best. Thank you so much. Be sure to support all the mod creators in the description down below. They're an incredible lot of people, and I really can't wait to see you guys all in the next video. Take care and have the most wonderful of wonderful days. Bye bye now.